Hi. My research I did was on motivational intervention, and what it was the participant wanted to increase their water intake. So, the methodology in this research, we used the quantitative research uh, with a single subject research design. And what it is, the participant would, for the baseline, would track how much water uh, they took in ounces for that week, for 1 week, and then we had a baseline. Each additional week was tracked, and during the week, I would give motivational sayings to the participants, such as "You're doing a good job," "Keep up the good work," throughout the um, the intervention period. We'd also talk once a week on the phone and talk about what worked that week, what didn't work that week, and what maybe something different we could try. The participant for the research was a female in her mid 20s. She was a student in the MSW program at Concord University. She wanted to increase her consumption of water for better health. The intervention used in the project was with text messages, weekly meetings held. The researcher would ask the participant what was done that week to motivate her. By doing this, the research will be able to establish if the intervention being used is going to be able to stay or another will be needed. Another way the researcher will measure the intervention and how well it is working is with a graph. I graph like a graph with the baseline on it, and then each week how much water was taken in. Um, the research being done in this project is how motivational interventions can help increase a person's water consumption. Um, Collecting the data. The data was collected in the research by the participant, keeping track of the amount of water she consumed in ounces. The participant would then talk with the researcher once per week by telephone. During this time, the researcher would discuss the participant what had took place during the previous week. The discussion covered consumption of water and what motivational intervention worked best for the participant. It was also discussed how the participant felt to make sure she was not experiencing no health issues because of the intake of water. Even though water is good for you, there is still health issues that can be affected with water. In the data analysis of the research, it was a quantitative research method. The researcher wanted to find out if by using motivational intervention could increase a person's water intake. The researcher worked with the participant, giving motivation throughout the week, would use cell phone texts and the weekly phone calls. It did show an increase. The final results in it, the first week from the baseline to the first week was a 73% increase in water intake. From the first week to the second week, it was only a 10% increase. And then from the second week to the third week, there was actually a decrease of 20%. But it was still an increase from the baseline on that. The purpose of the research, like I say, was to find out if motivational intervention can help someone increase their consumption of water. Looking at the research from the 3 weeks, an increase of water did happen in the first 2 weeks. But third was an increase of the baseline, but it was a decrease from the week before. So motivational intervention is a success at first, but over time it loses effectiveness. As seen in the research, at first motivational intervention was doing real good, but then it declined. The research we done also had some limitations to it that could have caused this. For instance, we were doing everything by phone, by text message. I believe if we would have had a face-to-face meetings, been able to see each other one-on-one, we might have been able to come up with different interventions and different ways to motivate the client more than what we had. So we were limited on what we could do there. It is good to say, though, that positive reinforcement can be used in social work in a lot of different ways. One way is for behavioral change of clients. And a good example of this would be with a child that's having a behavior issue. If for every time that child can modify that behavior, we can offer something to motivate the child. Maybe the child gets to pick a prize, maybe the child gets to go to McDonald's, something like that, just to modify the behavior. In conclusion, the findings in this research is not definite that motivational intervention itself helped with the increase in water consumption. The research did show increases, but then a decrease. But with only 3 weeks of research, and we did start on the 3rd week with a decline, I don't know if it would continue or not. Past research has shown that it sometimes doesn't, but it depends a lot on the client and how well they're taking in everything that you're wanting to teach them throughout the thing, throughout the research. But that's it for now. Thank you very much.